Hi, welcome to Go Beyond the Numbers. Colin Burr here from Learn Accounting Fast. This presentation is designed to give you an overview of what our two-day program, an in-house program that we've been delivering for the past 20 years, what the content of that program is and the outcome. The program is designed for business managers who have no financial literacy skills, very little or none at all. Out of the program, they will understand how every decision impacts the financial reports. They'll learn to make sound business decisions with confidence. When you understand how that business decision is going to impact your financial reports, you can make these decisions with confidence. This would therefore improve your performance and increase your profit faster, and ultimately increase the wealth of your business. Go Beyond the Numbers is delivered using accelerated learning methods, which is reported by the US military to be the most effective way of acquiring knowledge. We do this by creating a whole brain learning environment where we have words, pictures, lists, music, space, dimension, images and analysis. So we're constantly mixing up the left and right brain and bringing them together. The whole environment and everything is delivered to cover all of the learning styles, whether they be auditory, visual or kinesthetic. And we have what we believe is the right mix of theory and practice, because if there's no point in having a whole lot of theory and you don't know how to put it to practice, you must learn what it is that you're doing and you must learn how to do it. And so we have this right mix of theory and practice. We build a high level of trust with the participants, and we develop this philosophy of business that the key to business is to have a high level of trust with your customers. If your customers respect and trust you, they will do whatever you say. But if they respect, trust and have a need for your product and service, you have them eating out of your hand. There is no substitute for building a high level of trust, whether you are in business or you're an employee in a business. So the program covers bookkeeping, reporting, analysis and planning. We go right back to day one and start with bookkeeping. What is bookkeeping? First of all, we need to understand what are the elements of business. The three basic elements of business is you must have customers, you must have a product or service, and you must have cash. Any one of these elements is missing, you don't have a business. And this is the basis of all business and all financial literacy. So accounting is just keeping track of these three basic elements of business. Business is the movement of two elements of the business that move, which is product and cash, and they must always move in opposite directions. Product must go out, cash must come in. But it's actually recorded in the language of cash. And bookkeeping is just scorekeeping the game of business. Like every game, if you keep accurate record of the actions of the business, you can actually learn how to correct and become a master of your business. So what is double entry bookkeeping? It is in fact just the movement of product and cash. Debit is in, credit is out. This is a myth and a confusion to many people, and we anchor this information with a simple little song like "Oh, my accountant do all day is in, out, in, out, in. Oh, my accountant do all day is in, out, in, out, in. Debit and credit out, debit and credit out. Oh, my accountant do all day is in, out, in, out, in." Now you may smile and everybody laughs, but they remember debit is in and credit is out. And there's a number of little songs that we have to anchor this information and anchor these principles of business into the minds of the participants. So what we're constantly doing is hearing about the principles that are important. We see what they are by creating pictures, mind pictures, so that the participants can understand those principles. Then we get them to speak to those pictures over and over again, so that they know because they can speak about the pictures. And then we get some practical exercises, so there's some doing. So we're hearing, seeing, speaking and doing. Hearing, seeing, speaking and doing. So we cover the auditory, visual and kinesthetic learning styles of everybody in the room. It keeps the room moving at a fast pace and the participants awake and thoroughly enjoying the program. So here we have the first practical exercise, where we've now been talking about bookkeeping, and so now we do a practical exercise of accounts receivable, accounts payable, where we're buying and selling products and we're recording them in the stock book and the cash book. And this brings into one of the first principles that causes a lot of confusion in the minds of the managers, and that is the time lag that's involved, that is accrual accounting. So they do understand what is the nature and the purpose of accrual accounting. We then move on in the afternoon to reporting. First of all, we have to go back to what is the role of management versus the role of the accountant. That management plan, do, check and take action. While they're doing, the accountant turns the plan into a budget, and then they go ahead and do their business. While they're doing their business, they're sending source documents, must be timely and accurate to the accounts department so they can produce balance sheet, profit and loss and cash flow, and send those back to the management for checking to make sure that they're achieving their plan. If they're not achieving the plan, they can change their action, or in fact they can change the plan.
So if we know how to interpret, understand, analyze this, when we come to checking, we will be able to find out who is doing what in this, and we change their behavior, the financial report will change.
So what are these three reports? A profit and loss is your performance, a balance sheet is your health, and cash flow is the blood pressure, your ability to perform in the future. So how do these three accounts relate to each other? First of all, at the start you have a balance sheet, which is what you're worth at a point in time. Your profit and loss then is your performance of your activity over a period, what's your buying and selling. And your cash flow is over the same period, and it's the amount of cash that you've paid out and the amount of cash that you've collected in. And that gives you another balance sheet at the end of the reporting period, your new position of what you're worth as a result of your performance. And this shows how the three reports relate to each other. So what are the principles of a balance sheet? It's your assets minus your liabilities. It's what you own minus what you owe equals what you're worth. And then you have a profit and loss statement, which is your income minus your expenses. It's other words, it's your sales minus your buying equals your profit and loss. And cash is blood. This we reiterate over and over again. Cash to a business is like blood to the body. If you don't have enough cash in your business, you'll be dead in a short space of time. So your cash flow statement is your position at the beginning of the reporting period, how much cash you have, plus or minus the amount of money that you've received or the amount of money that has gone out. At the end, you have a balance. How much cash do you have? It's the difference between the start and the end. Business is measured by profit, but it actually operates on cash. And here is a myth. Most people think that profit is cash. Profit and loss is performance. Has nothing to do with cash. And we sing a little song again. Profit and loss is performance, performance, performance. Profit and loss is performance. Has nothing to do with cash. Profit creates wealth, but profit and loss is performance. Has nothing to do with cash. Then we finish and move on overnight and into day 2, and we start to analyze the accounts. What are these accounts actually telling us? Well, first of all, if we understand that cash is blood, then we need to know where is the blood coming into the business. And blood comes into the business in the form of cash from an owner and a lender. And the significance, we discuss the significance of the weighted average cost of capital, how much this blood is actually costing you. So business is about small money in and big money out. And in these 3 diagrams we show where the cash comes into the business It is used as working capital, fixed assets and costs. From the working capital comes a product that is stored in a storehouse in the form of stock, and it is on sold to your customer, whether he pays cash or he becomes a debtor. Then there is a profit comes out at the end of the day for distribution to the lender in the form of interest, but first of all we have to pay the government in the form of tax, and finally the owner gets a dividend, and any profit that is retained goes back into the business to keep this business growing. So we discuss the principles of profit distribution.
Coming in come from two main sources, either your own money or other people's money. Owner brings in capital, the bank brings in the loan and goes into the working capital, produce a product, comes out here, take away costs, and now we have.
And where are the blood clots in your business? If cash is blood, where are the blood clots in the business? You can see there's two blood clots here in stock and debtors, and there's also some blood clots in fixed assets. So we discuss these and how they can actually be identified, and remove the blood clots. By removing the blood clots, you're now taking control of the cash flow. So when we're analysing the accounts, we're discussing, well, compared to what? Compared to the industry? Compared to last year? Or compared to the target? Or your audit, in fact. Where are you now? Because you get what you focus on. If you're focusing on the right things in business, you'll be making the right decisions and therefore supporting the growth of the business. So we look at some ratios, some simple ratios, and we can actually design it to look at whatever ratios you want, but we deal with some basic ones. First of all, we look at the efficiency of the business, then we look at the profitability of the business, and finally we look at the liquidity ratio. Then in the afternoon on day 2 we now move into planning. What is planning? Planning is creating a budget. A budget is made up of past data and present data, making some future assumptions about where you'd like to be or you could be in the future. And the budget process is sales, cost of goods sold, operating budget, the asset budget, the cash budget, to give you a new balance sheet in the future. And this is another practical example that the participants do a budget for the sales, cost of goods sold, operating budget, the assets and the cash flow, and a brand new balance sheet. So they actually fully experience how one budget impacts on the next. And cash is blood. We discussed some principles here of how you can either build a cash mountain at the start of a contract or a death valley, and the importance of collecting cash before you start any particular contract, so that you don't draw down on your expenses and find yourself continually underneath the zero line. So what is risk management? We deal with risk management in a simple form. What is the difference between gambling and investment? Gambling is small money in, big money out with some growth, and investment is small money in and big money out with some growth. But the difference is investment has regular income. Regular income that will cover all outgoings and leave, in some cases, a positive cash flow. So Go Beyond the Numbers is a 2-day program that shows how every decision can impact your financial reports. How your managers will learn to make sound business decisions with confidence, improve your performance and increase your profit faster, and increase your wealth of your company. Everything that we do at Go Beyond the Numbers and Learn Accounting Fast comes with a 100% risk-free money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, we will give you your money back, and in 20 years we have never had to do this. So Go Beyond the Numbers can help you improve your performance. So create your solution now. Click on the button to the right here and contact us with your details and your questions, and we'll get back to you and create a solution for you now. I'm Colin Burr from Learn Accounting Fast, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. Bye for now.